For more relevant to the talk, I am the Panama Game Jam co-founder and organizer of the Global Game Jam in Panama, which means we just informed around about it because it's located in Panama, the country. And I've been talking about how we went from having an idea to establishing sort of a non-profit organization. Right, so just to do a quick recap of game jams, who here has been to one? The rest of you haven't to have. Okay, most of us. So we know what a game jam is, right? It's an event where you have a task of making a game in about usually 48 hours, 72, it can get up to weeks or months. This is where the images of the jams we just had. This one is the Global Game Jam, and this is the one we actually established this was last year in December. You can see we also got sponsored because we're students, and we students needed to serve with some funding. And then some of the benefits of joining game jams, memorable experiences and great source of inspiration. You can discover workarounds to problems you commonly find when making games on a bigger scale, and it's safe because they're a lower scale. It's just you spend just a few days' time in investing in some new idea you want to have. You can also expand your network and meet potential co-workers, which is a very important thing because you'll be working with them. Also, many great games have come from game jams. As an example, we have Mini Metro, we have Screen Sheet, Super Hot, Second Simulator. There are way more games. If you could just go online and say games made from game jams, there would be a huge list, and you'll be surprised at how many top games have just emerged from things such as the Doom Diary, Super Hot was going to 7-day FPS. I think Screen Sheet was born from the Global Game Jam, maybe 2014 or something around that. But there are also, drawbacks to going to game jams. They require familiarity with the tools you'll be using. It can be seen as glorified crunch because it essentially is glorified crunch. Team communication can be upsetting at times, and not every idea will come out as you imagined it. But the great thing to this is it's a game jam. It's just a few, it's a few days. You will not be, you will not be as easier to idea first. For some reason, you will not lose so much time. But even if any of these things happen, you learn a lot of things. You maybe meet new people. You make the tool you can probably use in your next games, or at least you will have an idea how to do it. Now, I will go about talking from the idea of making the game jam, which based on yesterday's keynote, the quest that I had. I sort of made that own quest to just establish one of the game jams. The first idea how it happened was in university, mid-age high school, they had a game jam that was for a class, and so I wasn't in that course, but I wanted to just make a game anyways. We made something around this. It's about 72 hours of think or less. We spent a game where you have to walk in the whole world move itself. Nothing very super technical, but I still liked the idea of we had such short time. I made this guys. We had a great time just communicating. I loved it. So now to my friend Jose, shout out to him. What if we host or what if we make one of the first game jams in Panama, because Latin America in general doesn't have much of a game development movement. So I wanted to push these things and get people to make games, even if they're not programmers, if they're not artists, you can still make a game, be it physical or digital. And so we got the quest to start planning things, looking for information, what's a game jam. So basically we need the where, the when, the how, the what, who, the why. So we basically getting from the information of the previous game jams, we looked around, okay, what's the game in itself, we defined everything, we made basically a proposal document, like writing a lot of information that they probably didn't need, but it was better for them to have it. So such as why are we qualified to have the game jam, like what makes us qualified people to be able to host an event, what kind of place we needed, what installations we needed, such as Wi-Fi, we need basic sanitation, we need probably some air conditioning because it's really hot there, 35 degrees. Probably don't want to be stuck in a room for that long. And many other aspects of just having a pleasant place where people can just come, share their ideas, have fun, go eat, etc. And then we basically low-key spam the thing to everyone. lot, and there's a fine line between being annoying and just genuinely sharing the idea. So thankfully, many lecturers from our previous universities and friends shared the document all around. We said we can use any help. We don't matter if it's low or a lot of help. And so we waited. This is the scary part. Waited about 3 to 4 weeks, I think even more. No one was getting to us. But then suddenly one day, I get a message from someone who works at the City of Knowledge, which is this startup accelerator business that goes in Panama, and they love doing this kind of thing, events for people who have either games or apps, or have some crazy ideas they want to boost around that are not very common in society. Luckily, we had a meetup, and the time difference is about 18 hours, so I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. just to be like presentable and talk about the idea, the place. They basically loved it. They wanted to give us full coverage of the event, so basically including the locality, the place, and it has like cafeteria closed. It wasn't the place we actually wanted to, so they sort of, I don't know if it was luck by design, but I got the place that I wanted to. I wanted to host the event at. We were very lucky to work with them because they currently sponsor this year's ones as well. And yeah, their support has been really great. Their organization is really huge back home. Now it's time to have some fun. And this is just an animation to represent marketing. So the mall marketing time right away. And then we had to actually, again, sharing that we just posted a proposal a few weeks ago. Now we're actually having an event. So this is the information. We made some cool graphics. We started to polish it around places, make sure it was a legit thing to do. People could come and be like, okay, these guys are making an event, and it looks okay, it looks cool. We had a Facebook event. We had we were basically putting it like in many places without having to deal with the fine line of spamming people. So but in the end it turned out pretty well. People were coming, hitting more the Facebook events, but there's something about events. People can come going, but they will go. So it was scary for me to think, okay, people have checked in, but I don't know if they're gonna come up. It's scary. Maybe I was expecting about 12 people to come. I was very happy about that. Like 12 is amazing. Like 2 or 3 games. I'm happy with that. And so this is the day of the event. We're panicking. I'm panicking. I don't know what to say. Maybe you're panicking too. But it's the moment where you say, "Oh my God, the event is happening. Who's gonna show up? Like, who's actually going to come?" And so I came in like 3 hours earlier to set up the things, to hang around, relax, be confident. People said they're going. And also I was expecting, only have to have friends. I wasn't expecting like any new faces around. But then time starts to come. It's 5 p.m. and we were saying at 6. People start to come. And, more people, and then we have there's people I don't know. Like, oh, interesting. Start meeting them. So eventually having an event where we have, that's about 35 people. And the next day, which is Saturday, we have kids playing. Like parents were coming. We had people from different medias, different companies coming to ask us, "What are you guys doing?" And we basically had to time ourselves. Like, okay, you're gonna explain to them. We're gonna explain to them. We're gonna go to this area. You have to be real selves. Okay, this is the game jam. We do this. This is the point why we're doing it. We want the whole community to grow up there. And we have to do it all day long. And it's a lot of work even if it doesn't look like it. You also get tired of explaining things. Here we come again. But it was great though. Like everyone was showing a lot of excitement, and you get excited because all the people coming. And this totally blew my expectations. So every time someone new came in, my grin was growing bigger. It's like, whoa! From expecting 12 people to having 35, that's quite a big number. Many of them were new. I think I saw my new somewhere around the photo.
Top right, next to the green banner. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it is. Extra photos of the event. This is like so much people. We didn't even fit there. Luckily, you saw these cables and things laying around. People explaining. We even have one of the ministries of something very important. She came to the event and talked to me. Whoa, this is amazing. And she showed genuine interest for the events. It just boosts you up and makes you think, like, well, people actually come to gaming as the industry it is. It's huge, and yeah, overall we were very happy about it. Here are some of the games they made. I think also this one. Yeah, I didn't make any games, but yeah, well, I didn't. Yeah, they were interesting things. Having people, using their engines. I was very chill about use whatever you want, use the thing you want. Like, we're not gonna be jerks about anything. Just have great times, hang out with local devs, make friends, and just hang around. Now you might ask, what happened to the Global Game Jam 17? It's way less stressful because it's already established. It's been going since 2008, but the first one was in 2009. The staff is amazing. We had, but Slack is not. If you go in Slack, there are about like 10,000 people chatting at the same time, different countries asking the same things. So it's like a lot of work. And also, I want to shout out to Yusuf Rosman. She was coordinating the event last year, and for me, it was a lot of work to just do the panel game to 35 people. I can't imagine how stressful it must be to have an event with about, it's globally. So, it must be crazy. So, really shout out to people who, made it possible, host these events and these big ones. I can't imagine, what they've gone through. Some of the photos we had, probably say somewhere around. There he is. And we were having people, with actual, they were showing keyboards, these cool screens where you can draw on them. We didn't have that in the previous jam. There were people who actually had industry experience. And some of them have been working in games since 9 years ago. So I was very impressed to see these guys coming and hanging around. Because I didn't know about them. The thing is, the industry was it's so close that you don't know about things unless you really dig into it. And it was then we realized that they had previously hosted a global game jam a few years ago, but we had no idea of this. When someone really told us, hey guys, we had this event going on 3 years, because it was having some unrest that they were kind of mad that, because we were saying it's the first game jam, but it was the first game jam because it wasn't global. So officially it is. But yeah, it was creating some opinions about whether or not it was a first. So luckily we sat down with them, we solved the problems, and it was okay. But yeah, the goal of this was to just try to get the community out and have people come in and meet each other, do cool things. Games are such a huge market. We had these other games. You want to take a photo also?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So there was this sort of games made. We even have a board game made. So it's really interesting stuff. New different range of skills. So we were very happy about that. The people were showing genuine interest in the game development community. We had even media like press is coming to sort of interview us and say, what are you guys doing? They publish it in some local newspapers and magazines. So we're really interested in the whole event. And they had no idea the game industry was so big. I was like, well, it is huge in other countries, and it makes a lot of money. And if you say money, they certainly care about it way more. So some conclusions from this event is that the game development community grew. We're then reaching the foundations of a series of events and gatherings that hopefully keep coming. And I want to just reiterate that this year's Game Jam has already been, we already got the sponsors again. So we're starting to plan the marketing process, hopefully sometime soon. And it was great because coming from a student's perspective to someone no one knows you, having this event where you propose a thing and who are you anyways to to tell us you're qualified to have this event. There was a lot of work and took a lot of determination and believing in yourself, which is one of the last conclusions. But before that, media got a hold into the game development community and the industry's potential. And I can feel that I should not interest in myself. If any of you has an idea that's this crazy, go for it. You will never know what happens. You never know who reads things. And even if it looks like you have to wait a lot, maybe one day they will pick it up and contact you. They'll be like, okay, I loved your idea, so I shall go with it. Which is this the case that happened, and we're still striving to keep the game jams coming up building the community, having more people come, the new artists, having writers, having maybe musicians someday, and to eventually have a community that's very, it's nurturing itself. From just having, healthy developers and events that happen around, keep people, interested in the games and whatnot. I think, it's time to ask some questions if you have any. Not then, yeah, sorry, yeah.
So was there any point when you were planning this where you're like, maybe I should stop and not do it anymore? There was like, what made you kind of just do it?
Oh, because I was very stubborn. So I wrote this proposal. I'm like, yeah, why not? I believe that the thing is like, I would rather be too much like, you feel shame if you didn't try. But if you tried, then and if nothing happened, at least you tried, So I was very excited. I trusted in the team of organizers. Like we were confident that we could pull this off. I think the confidence sort of like transcended into the sponsors, and they believed in us when we talked about as well. I showed them the potential we had, and we could totally pull this event off. I think it was just a matter of believing in yourself and just also having people who can help you out, like friends, local lecturers of university. They will also keep in kind of pulling some strings because they know more people than you, and you're just a student. But yeah, at the end it was just keeping the consistency and determination that you can really pull this off. And at the end, it did. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hey, how's it going? You mentioned that you managed to get some sponsorship for these events and that you had like people from government who turned up. Are you going to utilise those networks to springboard into future events?
I think for the so the question was if we, because we got sponsored from other organizations and governmental entities, if we got to use as a spring for next events. So I think we will definitely because they got a hold on it. I think this year I will probably I'll go for having a spot in television maybe. That'll be pretty cool. But the thing is, I arrived like a week before the event, so it's a lot of work. You have to like meet them on the places, and but yeah, I'm really hoping for it. See if anything of that happens. So maybe Jose will help me out. Most of the staff team is here in New Zealand, and so it's very hard for us to coordinate things back home. But I'm hoping to just give the keys to someone else because like at the end if we were setting the event, if anyone else wants to host these events for us, just hit us up because we know who wants to sponsor us. We send someone to be actually there, keep things going. So yeah, I think we'll most certainly will, just keep those contacts in hand. Do we still have time for one more question?
What kind of themes did you have in the game teams?
Oh, so yeah, we played that. We had 3 themes because we weren't sure how people were going to react to only one thing. So we had folklore, we had flora and fauna, and we had
Public transport.
Yeah, public transport, because if you're Panamanian, these are things that are very inbuilt into the culture. Transport is horrible. We are very patriotic with everything, and flora and fauna is interesting as well as the folklore. So yeah, and the themes like as we expected, they made the games based on very the mythological creatures and whatnot, and some even made a game about this kind of bus that people used to drive, and it was very archaic. It's called the Red Devils. They're very colorful. So yeah, they made one as we expected. So that was really fun. So any more questions? Okay.
What were the unforeseen problems with the actual event?
I think first of all there was no problem, but it was very high level. If more people showed up than you actually expected, you wouldn't have a space to work in. But luckily, I talked to the guys at the Foundation of City of Knowledge, and they said they have extra tables and whatnot, so that was sorted. And yeah, luckily it helped. Other things, having people show up, those expectations. We kind of want to. I usually like to keep them low, not super low.
Yeah.
Just keep them a realistic level, maybe.
Well,
Yeah, just so in case if anything happens, you're hyped. If not, then okay, it's to my expectations. I also think about just having people show up if it's gonna be a diplomacy between peers, because you can always expect some people to have problems with themselves, maybe just fights or things like that. So we said cannot drink in the installations, and don't be respectful to others, respect their ideas, their beliefs. So have safe space where we can work. and have no issues. At the end, it turned out to be very cheerful.
Just one super quick question. What was kind of like the demographics? Like, what was the ratios of males to females and age sort of brackets?
Thank you. I'll go to one photo so you can actually have a look. It was one female in the Global Game Jam. And it was her first game ever. I was really happy about her story. She hadn't met a game before, but she was an artist. And she was so excited all the time, like, whoa, games are like this. And, oh my God, she was very excited to work in the graphics. It was very interesting to have people, newcomers to the industry, be like, whoa, new games. Yeah, I was really excited to have people come and make their first games. That was sort of one of the goals we had in mind. So people come in and have their first experiences, and they surely like them. They keep in touch and be like, okay, if you have any other events, just let us know because we want to go to them. In the game jam, we had a few more actually. We have 1, 2, maybe 3. I think about 3 females in there, which was actually very impressive. Because sadly, we need to keep having those conversations of in the inclusion of different genders and people into the games industry. But luckily, we have more people coming up. Even some of them were females, but they were also asking about the event and doing the press. So, I think that hopefully the demographic will even up this year. But can always expect anything. I would say around 90% males, 10% female. Thank you. I think that'll be alright. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for listening. Hope you have a good time.